Hi Chris, how's it going?
Afternoon, I'm very well, yeah. Thanks. Yourself?
Good, thank you. I just wonder if your mood's any different having scored 3 goals in the last 3 games. Does that change your week, your outlook at all going into the next game?
Not too much, really. It's always nice, obviously, as a striker to be on the score sheet and be in good form, but I think the same principles still apply, still putting the work in, and still trying to help the team as much as possible, so that doesn't change from week to week.
There were lots of positives to take from the Preston match, albeit conceding that late equaliser. And I think it's agreed that results and performances have improved over the last few weeks. Just what's been the difference, say, to the Bristol City that kicked off against Blackpool back in August? How have things changed? Why have things changed so much?
Interesting. I don't know, actually. I think we started the season fairly well in terms of performances and perhaps didn't get the rewards. And then maybe a bit of a lull in the middle. And I think, as you just said, performances have picked up again. Difficult to put our finger on, really, I think, to be perfectly honest. A bit more confidence. We look a bit more of a threat going forward. And I would say we're probably having a bit more possession, controlling possession a little bit more, holding on to the ball a bit longer, if you want to go into kind of technical things. But yeah, I think it's a gradual process. Obviously, we've got some young players, quite a lot of young players in the squad. So I think allowing them time to grow, which I think is happening, and obviously allowing them to make mistakes, which is going to happen as well. I'm not saying that the experienced lads are immune to making any mistakes, but I think it is going to be the case with kind of blooding young players a little bit, that you might have a little bit of inconsistency. But yeah, I think it's building quite nicely, or that's how it feels. But ultimately, we still need to keep picking up points.
And how does Antoine Semenyo compare to some of the best strike partners you've had in your career?
Oh, how long have you got? I've played with quite a few. I've been around. No, very favourably, I would say. I think I think maybe it was after the Cardiff game, I think, about how good he is and the potential that he has. And he has all the attributes to go probably as far as he wants to be perfectly honest with you. I think it will just be down to kind of his mindset throughout his career, really. I think that's a determining factor for a lot of players, is kind of how they adapt, how they go through their career, whether they're able to continue to improve, be coachable, be open to improving as well. And yeah, are able to kind of keep on the straight and narrow, I guess. But Antoine is full of ability, strength, power. He can go both ways, good on his right foot and his left. Has good movement. So down to him, really, to be perfectly honest. I think we're just very glad that he's with us, and he's putting the performances that he is in, and contributing to the team in the way that he is with his assists and his goals and his all-round play. And I think we're now seeing what in games. You guys are now seeing what we've been seeing in training for a long time, and I think with more game time and more experience, that's going to continue to come out, and he'll continue to grow.
Out of interest, who is the best player you've ever played up front with in your career?
I don't know. I'd have to have a think about that. Grant Holt was pretty good. And Wes Hoolahan as well at Norwich. He was a slightly different play. He played in the 10. I don't know. I'll have to have a bit more of a think, but those two spring to mind.
Nice, there's been a few. Often fans wonder who their club are going to sign on transfer deadline day, and in City's case, is the positive that you didn't lose any of your best players. I mean, Alex Scott, Hanno Masengo, Antoine Semenyo, they're at the club, and it's an exciting future for Bristol City if they can hold on to players like that.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's been obviously well documented, the situation the club's in financially right now. So me personally, I wasn't expecting too much to happen. And like you said, obviously trying to hold on to our most promising players, I think is always the aim for every club, to be honest, at this level. So happy for that to happen. And I think it's going to be a key part of what the manager wants to build in terms of trying to make the next steps and improve us and kind of move us up the table. It is keeping hold of all of our best young players, and obviously having some good experienced players along with that. So hopefully that's the case moving forward.
Two more questions. Curtis Fleming was very interesting last week talking about the signing of Tim Closer. Just talking about a player's age, it's just a number, it's how you feel. You're actually no longer the most senior player in the team. I think Tim's about 6 months older than you. But to you, is age just a number? And do you look long-term, or at 33, what kind of state do you look at yourself as a footballer now?
Yeah, I don't feel that old. I feel in really good shape, to be honest. I think physically and mentally, I'm in as good a place as I've been for what's a long time. I think if I went over and looked at my stats this season, running-wise, the numbers that I'm putting up are better than they have been in previous seasons for a long time. So I think it's all individual, really, to be honest. I think there's some players that can get to this sort of age and maybe be a bit burnt out, maybe kind of be not have the drive, not have the hunger. I don't feel like I'm one of those people. I feel like I've still got a lot to prove, a lot to give, and I think that's probably the biggest determining factor in terms of an older player is kind of does the fire still burn, really, and are you wanting to come in and improve every single day, give everything for the team to try and win games. And I certainly feel like I've still got that competitive spirit in me for a good while yet. So I think everyone has to be assessed, obviously, depending on different kind of characteristics, but age shouldn't just be the main determining factor. I think you need to assess a lot more than just somebody's age.
And a word on Blackpool, who showed you back in August what they can do. They showed Fulham last week what they can do. What kind of challenge does a team like Blackpool pose you, especially on their own ground?
Yeah, it'll be tough. I imagine it'll be a bit cold and a bit windy up there. Yeah, they were good, actually, I thought, in the first game of the season. I know we obviously conceded late in that game to draw it, but they posed a threat. They worked very hard. They had pace on the break, and they posed a few problems. I remember their wingers stayed very wide, caused us some issues with the diagonal balls. And yeah, they seem like they've got a real good fighting spirit. I know they've ground out a very good results from what I've seen, and a team that's probably a little bit unfancied. So I'd imagine they've got, like I said, a good team spirit and a good togetherness, and that's what it feels like. And I think they've given a lot of teams a really, really tough day. So I'm expecting much of the same.
Enjoy the cold on Saturday. Thank you, Chris.
Thanks.
Hi, Chris. How's it going?
Hiya. Yeah, good. Thank you.
Good. This front three is very enjoyable to watch at the moment. Is it equally as enjoyable to play in?
It has been, yeah. I don't know how many games it is now. 3 or 4 games we played together, and it does feel like we've got a good understanding together, and things have really clicked, which can be quite rare, actually, for it to happen so quickly. But obviously we've known each other for a little while now, and maybe not played in those exact positions, but I feel like we know each other's games pretty well, and it seems to be a real good combination right now.
And you personally, 3 goals in 3 games and 3 very good performances too. What do you put the recent form down to?
Not sure. I think that we are playing better as a team. I think that helps. I think we're showing more confidence, a bit more personality when in possession. I think that's helped me. I like to come in and link play. I think for us to have the ball a little bit more suits me, and the players around me playing better is always going to help me. So able to have more chances and shots at goal. But I think probably just a bit of reward as well for the hard work that I've been putting in all season, really. I think as a striker you go through kind of lean spells and you go through really real purple patches, so you have to try and make the most of it when they come along. So hopefully I'm able to keep that going for as long as possible. But sometimes you don't always get your just rewards in games, or you're a bit unfortunate, especially as a striker. There's very fine margins between getting on the score sheet and not. So I think it's just a bit of payoff for the work that I've been putting in. And that's now starting to bear a bit of fruit. So I'm hopeful that can continue.
And you mentioned those lean spells, and I know after the Cardiff game, Nige said that it's great for you because you've had to deal with a bit of criticism in the past from supporters this season. How have you learned to deal with that? I guess throughout your career.
Just don't really pay too much attention to it. I've got to be totally honest. I know the gaffer did mention it. I haven't really seen too much of it. I'm on social media a bit, but not a huge amount. So I generally don't tend to go looking for stuff like that. But yeah, it doesn't really hold too much weight for me, to be honest. Focusing on doing what I need to do day in and day out and week in and week out, trying to help my team, to be perfectly honest, and that's my only real focus, trying to win games. So people are going to have an opinion whether that's good or bad, and everyone likes it when everyone has a good opinion of you and whatnot. You have to take the rough with the smooth, I guess. And I'm my own biggest critic, I would say. I don't think anyone would be, maybe my dad potentially, a bit harsher than I am on myself, but so I understand and I know if I need to improve things or I haven't had a good game. So it's about kind of having a bit of perspective on things and whether it really affects you or not, which it doesn't. Whether somebody that I don't know has an opinion on me, okay, that's their business, it's not really mine. Trying to, like I said, trying to help the team win as many games as possible, and trying to make a good impression on the people that kind of matter in my world, I guess. Maybe that's a little bit of a selfish outlook, but I think you've got to try and have the blinkers on a little bit, otherwise you listen to all the noise, you kind of get caught up in it.
And I just want to ask you about your contract situation. You're out of contract at the end of the season. The club have a 12-month option. Have talks taken place to extend that deal into next season?
No, nothing's taken place so far, so I guess that's just a wait and see, really. It doesn't really matter too much to me. Contract situations are only sorted out by performances on the pitch, so if I'm able to continue to put in good performances, that will only help my case, to be perfectly honest. So it is what it is, whether you've got a long contract, short contract, whether you're up at the end of the year, whether you're not. Same things apply to me for doing my job. Carry on doing that and I see where I go.
I wanted to ask you about new teammate Tim Closer. How's he settled into the group, and did you give him kind of an initiation?
He gave us a good rendition of a nice rap song, actually, in his native tongue. Yeah, so that was interesting. Nobody had a clue what he was saying. Hopefully he wasn't making fun of us all. But he settled in really well, actually. Yeah, really, really well. He's a good guy around the place. He's, from what I've seen, he's gone around to speak to everyone, made a point of trying to help himself settle in. I think all the lads have been very accommodating for him. So I think that helps for a new player, get stuck in straight away. We've seen his quality, obviously, in the game the other day and in training as well. So, I think he's been a very welcome addition.
Chris, when you see former players, kind of Lampard going into management, Gerrard, Rooney, is that something that kind of tweaks your interest after you do eventually hang up your boots?
It's nice to be named in the same conversation as them, but honestly, right now, not something I have given much thought to be honest. I know a lot of players my kind of age are doing badges and whatnot. I'm not sure it's the avenue I want to go down right now. Might change, might not, but there's a lot of other stuff I'd like to explore, to be honest. So I'd love to play for as long as I possibly can, and I still see myself being able to do that for a good few years yet. So that's kind of going to be my main focus. But yeah, not something I've given a huge amount of energy towards.
Thanks, Chris. Good luck for Saturday.
Thank you. Cheers.
Hi, Chris. So obviously the career that you've had, I just wanted your opinion on perhaps the Championship this season as well, because we've seen the likes of Bournemouth spend big money on players and players like that. So I was just wondering what your assessment is of this status of the Championship, if you will, because it's almost like a second Premier League at times, isn't it?
What you mean in terms of the money that's being spent, or
just the money, but also the quality perhaps as well. because obviously just how quality the Championship is this season, perhaps?
Yeah, I think it has been for a while, to be honest. I think it's improving all the time, like you said, with the money spent, the players that clubs are able to attract. I think there's some fantastic players that are in the Championship right now and that have come through the Championship. So, yeah, it's a very, very tough league every single year. There's always some top quality teams and some really good players. So I don't think this year's too much different than most years that I can remember.
And it's good to hear about that initiation with Tim. Obviously, you as a striker, him as a defender. Are you on his side in training, or are you against him and you're having to both compete on set pieces and corner kicks, for example?
Yeah, it changes day to day. So I'm sure we've come up against each other. Yeah, I can't actually remember, to be honest. I played against him as well before, obviously, previous clubs, but. No, I think, like I said, he's been a real welcome addition with his experience, and the guy that he is, the character that he is, I think has really improved the group.
Thanks, Chris. Thank you.
Hiya, Chris.
How you doing, Ryan?
Obviously, your first game in front of the City fans was against Blackpool at the start of this season. How big a driving factor are they when you're playing it, especially away from home, getting behind the team? How much does that help performances?
Yeah, it can hugely. I think as players, you don't always hear the individual chants or what's said by it too much, but I think you can feel the overall energy of the crowd and the intensity, and it's something that, as players, you can feed on that massively, and if you're going through a positive period and the crowd are right behind you, it gives you that extra lift to try and find a goal that's needed or to try and see out a win. And likewise, if you're behind in a game, to give you that extra little push or a kick up the backside if needed. The fans can have a really big impact on the players and on the overall picture, I think, of the game. So we'll be hoping that we've got a fair few following us on Saturday and cheering us on to a victory.
Yeah, and I'm just away from the on the pitch stuff. I saw your tweet the other week about when there was the partnership announced with her game 2, and the tweet about you and your daughter especially. Just wanted to ask how big a step forward you think that it is for the football club.
Yeah, I think it's a really, really good partnership. I do. I think the women's game is getting more and more coverage, and rightly so. I think, like I said, obviously in my tweet, my daughter is something that looking at her and kind of what she would have in front of her and trying to forge kind of something for the next generation, I guess. I think and giving credit to what are some fantastic players and some great clubs, and it's a great initiative, I think, to try and push it out there and I think raise more awareness and show youngsters, obviously, like my daughter and many other thousands and millions of young girls about what is capable, what they're capable of, and what is out there for them. So I'm kind of proud to be part of a club that is pushing that agenda for sure.